Yo.
Yo.
What's up? All right. What's up?
What's going on, Amos?
Yes.
Man.
All right.
Man. I had all
Game
black on,
time.
man. I thought it was gonna be a funeral on Friday, and I got the complete opposite. So yeah, here we go, 3-1 again.
Well, I mean, I think there was a lot of WWE going on. It was, I don't know. I think it was pretty one-sided in the calls. I think that for the ref to all of a sudden push a technical foul from, Draymond Green's second to all of a sudden the first technical foul was Steve Kerr. Like, I know that we've caught refs before, like, doing that, like changing calls in favor of a team, and I don't know if that's the case, but it just seemed very, very obvious to me that people wanted the Cavs to pull this one out.
Okay, so you on the conspiracy theory side?
A little bit. In this case, a little bit. I'm usually not, but it's not. I'm not taking away that Kyrie had an amazing game. JR stepped up, Ron, but I think that there was a little. I think that either there were a lot of mistakes, or it just seemed like, a lot of the fouls that the Warriors were getting called on. I don't know if they get called in another game.
Man, look, we all know what time it is, man. The referees help out, man. How do you go from being down by 7 points, 34-27, to like 48-27 in a matter of a couple of minutes? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
It's not like they were hitting a bunch of threes for that to happen. They were shooting free throws for that to happen.
Yeah. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, if
Can we just mention how Bree had 40 points though? Like, I just think that was huge.
he had 40 points.
He had 40 points. I'm looking at the stat sheet right now. He had a very efficient game. He went 15 for 27. And LeBron went 11 for 22 with 31 points, 31, 11, and 10. Kyrie went 40 and 7. They played well. J.R. Smith finally showed up. He decided to come alive, and he shot 50%, scored 15 points. Richard Jefferson.
Cavs bench showed up.
What's up?
That Cavs bench finally showed up.
Yeah, the Cavs bench finally showed up. I mean, you had a few points from Shumpert, Williams, and Jefferson. That was huge. Klay Thompson with his 13 wasn't enough. I mean, I think the biggest difference was Steph Curry probably had he had his weakest game of the series. I mean, 4 for 13 with 14 points from your second-best player. That's not enough to get it done.
No.
So I think they kind of showed up lax, and they thought they were going to close it out, but they didn't. But that's kind of what stood out to me. I know I was supposed to go last, but yeah.
Well, what do you guys think about like those calls?
I was very confused with the Draymond Green.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then he didn't get and then he didn't get ejected. But that was because Steve Kerr. Wasn't the tech called on Steve Kerr? Or what was the reason for that?
I was under the impression that the first tech was called on Draymond, actually. And then the second one was definitely called on Draymond. But then when they went back to the score sheet, they looked at it and said, oh, wait, that first one was actually meant for Steve Kerr, but it was marked for Draymond. That's why I was
Yeah, I was confused because it was like Draymond Green, 2 technical fouls, but then I was like, why is he still in the game?
Exactly. Yes.
They just delayed it a little bit, man. I mean, Klay had a whatever game. Curry had a pretty poor game. overall. So,
I just hope it doesn't come down to money. Like if there's executives, owners are saying, we got to.
At the same time, yeah.
We got to extend the series. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, like about money, because if you look at the way they played, they were taking some terrible shots. Like, granted, they are the Warriors. They're a three-point shooting team, and they shoot random threes. But Klay Thompson, they were taking a lot, especially Klay Thompson. Like, they were forcing some out-of-rhythm shots that kind of seemed like, all right, they're either trying to just, like, shoot their way into the game, and if they make it, they make it. And if they miss, they miss. But part of me seemed like they were, like, a little lazy with their basketball play. Like, either they didn't care about winning it that night or they were wanting to win in Oakland. And that's definitely not going to – they're definitely not going to play that way in Oakland. To me, it seemed like they took this game off and they were just kind of just – shooting they're like, if we win by shooting these ridiculous shots, then we win. Because Pat, when you're playing pickup and you're tired, right, after playing five games of pickup basketball, you're like, hey, I'm gonna try to just shoot a three to win this game, or I'm just gonna win by threes with a lack of effort and kind of make it up. But
absolutely, yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt. Like, it seemed like they were kind of just taking chances. They're like, if they go in, they go in. If not, whatever. We'll live to see another day, and we'll close it out on our home court on Monday.
Yeah, taking the break for the legs for next game. That very possible. Very possible.
Yeah.
And when we play one-on-one, I usually get tired after like the first game, number one. Although
I'm too busy breaking them ankles.
I'm too busy sweating all over you, dude. No.
Hey, but by the way, I have a lot to say about Kevin Durant and his decision to move to the Warriors, but the Warriors have to win for me to say it, for me to announce this. But after tomorrow night, I have an announcement for Kevin Durant and my approval or disapproval of his move to the Warriors, and me either approving of his legacy in this championship and me disagreeing with it and me calling it not legitimate based on comparing him to the other legends out there.
Well, now you got me.
So you're basing this on this finals?
I'm basing it, okay. Me, in my decision with Kevin Durant going to the Warriors, I think that it was mostly a business decision. That's what I think with Kevin Durant. But he looked at it like, okay, I can make money and I can go to the Warriors and win for 3 or 4 titles. So, and I also I think he looked at LeBron James and noticed how the rest of the world 4 or 5 years later after he went to the Heat, and nobody's calling his championships kind of tainted. Nobody's looking at LeBron saying, oh, he's got 3 rings, but 2 of them were with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Nobody's looking at that. So I think Kevin Durant kind of took that same route and was like, you know what? I'm going to go do the same thing. 20 years from now, they're not going to remember how I got these rings. They're not going to remember me leaving the Warriors or me leaving the Thunder to go to the Warriors. If you think about it, look at history and look at Wilt Chamberlain and his move from the Sixers to the Lakers.
Right.
The Sixers were a pretty dominant team, dude, and he still left there to go to the Lakers. But nobody cares about that. They're just like, Wilt Chamberlain went to the Lakers because it's the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like, the years from now, nobody's going to really think about that. But the problem is, we're in the present, and if you knew me when I first, when that news first broke, I was mad. Like, Ammons, like me and Mikkel were like, I was not a fan. Like, I still think that this is nothing. This is not even close to what LeBron does. Nobody – this right here is unprecedented. Like, this has never happened. But 20 years from now, if Kevin Durant gets 3 or 4 rings, we're still going to be looking at him as a top 15 player, potentially top 10 if he gets 4 rings and ends up top 5 in all-time scoring. I mean, shit, if he ends up top 5 all-time scoring when his career's said and done and has 4 rings, then he's going to end up being a top 10 player, and it'll be pretty much unanimous as him being a top 10 player.
2 things. Do you think that KD then has a chance to surpass LeBron in stats and then as an overall player? Number 1. Number 2, do you think that LeBron's exit to Miami was a more ethical, not moral, a more ethical way to leave a team than KD's approach?
So, for one, I'll answer the first question because it's a quick no for me. Kevin Durant could not ever surpass LeBron.
Okay.
Unless it takes a lot for Kevin Durant to pass LeBron. For the reason being, head-to-head matchups alone, right? Like, obviously LeBron has always he's always sunned Durant. Like, in their matchups in the last 8 to 9, 10 years of them matching up with one another, LeBron has always been Kevin Durant's kryptonite. Now it's time to look at rings. LeBron has 3. Kevin Durant had to join this 72. I'm sorry, that matters. Like, to join this team, for Kevin Durant to join this team and beat LeBron, that's not enough for me to surpass LeBron. Now, if Kevin Durant somehow loses Klay Thompson, right, in free agency, and takes like a Steph Curry who's kind of on his last leg, because that is something that we do need to consider. Dwayne Wade, LeBron teamed up with Dwayne Wade, but when Dwayne Wade was on his team outside of the couple years, he really wasn't the Dwayne Wade flash that we knew of. Like, he really wasn't.
05 to 08, yeah.
He was not that same player. Like, especially against the Spurs when they lost in 5. I am no LeBron fan whatsoever, no shape or form, but I do give him the benefit of the doubt. If he literally was on his own that playoff series. Chris Bosh was nowhere to be found. Dwayne Wade, his knees were like, he had nobody. He had no help, and he was going up against a Spurs team that was in sync, moving the ball, playing defense, had a young Kawhi Leonard who was D'ing you up. He had to do a lot more. And he beat that same OKC team. So, for me, I don't ever see Kevin Durant passing LeBron in terms of legacy. But he can certainly pass him in rings, because I predicted that LeBron will probably finish with 3 rings before he won his first ring. I always said LeBron would probably get 3 rings, and that'll be it. And now he's got 3 rings. I don't see him getting another one unless somehow someone on the Warriors gets hurt. But I mean, if the Spurs get Chris Paul, then that's another obstacle.
That team is good if that happens.
Yeah, I think Kevin Durant has an opportunity to pass him in overall championships, but not in legacy.
Okay, and what about the second question?
I don't even remember the second question.
Do you think that LeBron's exit from Cleveland to Miami the first time, or the only time he went to Miami, was a more ethical? More ethical approach than what KD did.
Yeah, okay. The reason why KD's approach wasn't ethical to me was because, in terms of ethics, for me as a person, I believe in, like, kind of, you know, letting the other person know, like, look, ref, this is how I feel. I'm going to go to this team. But he's not obligated to do that. He has no obligation to give a 2-week notice or when he's about to leave. He's a free agent. He can do whatever he wants.
It's true.
But if Russell Westbrook's supposed to be your dog, you're sticking up from him in interviews, you're sitting here calling Mark Cuban an idiot.
Yep.
You're sitting here backing him up. You should be there to kind of be like, yo, Russ, I'm going to leave. This is why. But to do all that, to ignore Russ, to kind of dismiss everyone, and then to go to that Warriors team that you had a heated battle with, and it's not like you literally could have competed for a title this year. Literally, It's between Warriors, Cleveland, and the Thunder to win it all this year. But he decided to join them.
Okay, so
and then with LeBron, I mean, what better story is it to go home to Cleveland, right? He wrote a fucking letter in Sports Illustrated. Like, nothing is more ethically, you know, pleasing than that. Like, so in terms of that, I would say that's more ethical.
I think so too. You know, I think LeBron basically told everyone that he was going to Miami, and it wasn't a secret. And, you know, you're right. These guys, when they're free agents, can do whatever they choose. Look at DeAndre Jordan. They can do whatever they want, and they're allowed to. But in terms of camaraderie, I think it was sad that Russell Westbrook wasn't given at least a heads up or, you know, whatever. And it's none of my business, and I don't know, you know, what's going on. There's other stuff going on behind the scenes or whatever, but I think that LeBron definitely took that in consideration, you know, for his family, the city, and, you know, his team ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
what we doing with tomorrow? Like, are the Warriors going to win tomorrow, or this going 7 games?
Oh, Warriors win tomorrow. It's a wrap to me. My prediction tomorrow, I think the Warriors are going to win by about 10 to 15 points. Keep in mind, the Warriors have now won in front of their home court. So that's going to be huge. You went from Cleveland like, okay, let's close out. If you're the Warriors, you do not want to lose this game, because if you lose this game, you're going back to Cleveland 3-2 with a potential Game 7. If you lose in Cleveland, then you got a Game 7 back in Oracle, which can be scary. So I think they're locked in. I think Curry's dialed in. I think you're definitely not going to see 14 points, 4 for 13 shooting from Curry. You're going to see Kevin Durant, who's locked in. By the way, even on an off night, he scored 35 points. I mean, he didn't have that many rebounds last game, blah, blah, blah. But I think the whole team is going to be tapped in, and they're going to be ready to close this shit out in their home court. And I got the Warriors winning 119 to 103. So they're going to win by about 16 points.
All right, you know what? I'm going to stick with my guns, and I think Cleveland upsets the Warriors at home tomorrow. Straight up.
Straight up?
Yep.
Why, though? Why?
Why? Because I am that guy right now. Number one. Number two, I think that, you know, in terms of the NBA might getting involved, I think in terms of LeBron, you know, like you said, you never want to face LeBron, who's on a roll. And if all of a sudden, you know, this is the Cleveland team from last game becomes the same Cleveland team, if not better, at Oracle, I give them a shot. I give them a shot at one upset game, but then they go back to Cleveland, and the Warriors handle business at Cleveland. I had to throw it out there.
If the Warriors lose tomorrow, then they lose the series. That's all I'm gonna say.
If the Warriors lose tomorrow, they're fucked.
No, like they're really gonna lose the series if they lose tomorrow. Like I'm picking the Warriors, man. They gotta knock this one out. They gotta get it, man. They gotta get it done tomorrow. If they don't, that's it, man. LeBron gonna go 4 for 4, and then everybody in the world is gonna hail him as the GOAT. So I don't know. If they win tomorrow, I don't care, man. I'm gonna call it a conspiracy. Like I don't care. Like it has to be some type of setup, man. If they end up winning tomorrow, because like, come on, dude. Like
the probability is not there. I agree. Do you say by more or less than 20 points?
Man, I'm with Stanley. They should win by like at least 15.
That's a lot of points.
I mean, they've done it before. It's not like.
But the
Warriors
can win by a lot of points. The Warriors can put up 10 points in 10 seconds. Like they.
You know what? Because we'll see. You're probably right.
J.R. Smith is not going to play like this at Golden State. Like I just don't see him. Dude, what he did the last game. Yo, you going in and out.
Yo.
Yeah, you going in and out.
Yeah.
All right.
That's better.
Yeah. I don't know how many points J.R. Smith had, but, like, nah, like, he's not about to be going off like that in Golden State.
He had 15 points. He went 5 for 10, and then he went 5 from 9 for 3. So he's not hitting 5 3-pointers tomorrow. But no, that's not happening.
If
he does, it's going to be in garbage time.
If the Cavs win, I think if the Cavs win, there's no chance the Warriors end up losing the finals.
Wait. You said if the Cavs win, you think there's no chance that the Warriors lose the finals?
Yes. I said that because if Cleveland pulls...
Well, that means if they win, that there's no chance that they lose the finals either. So what do you mean?
That's true. I'm saying in this scenario.
Because if they win the shit.
That's true. I'm saying if the Cavs do win, that the Warriors will come back and put on a scoring performance like we've never seen before in Cleveland. And I think they just come out and cream them. But if they do win tomorrow, I mean, they're probably going to. But if. It's a big if. But we'll see. We'll see.
I'm telling you right now, the referees are not going to let the Warriors win if they go back to Cleveland, dude. Like, the refs alone will find a way to make sure. Dude, Curry never gets in foul trouble. Like, he got, like, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The refs.
By the way, Ammons, was that article legit? Like, 'cause I looked for those quotes from Adam Silver, and I could not find them on the internet. So I was a little confused. I was like, what?
Honestly, I gotta check that out. It's probably not true. Like whatever quotes he has said, but like my whole thing is that I do believe that like things are set in place like to make money. Because they were saying like if the Warriors had swept the Cavaliers, they would have lost out on $22 million.
Yes, someone else told me that too.
Yeah, I did read that article about the $22 million.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they wanted the Warriors to lose. I'm pretty sure they wanted their own team to like get the sweep, but at the same time, it's like money does matter. Like no matter how much these people are billionaires, I just know like there's stuff set in place, dude. Because if you look at these contract stipulations, just like for the Supermax, like you have to be on the NBA All Team or wherever in order to get a Supermax. So, like, people, like, Paul George, and I forgot the other person that didn't get on there. But some of these guys who are all-stars, they can't even get a super max because of a stupid stipulation.
That's stupid. Yeah. Paul George is good too.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew that part, Pat, but it's in the stipulation. Like I for anybody's like contract, like if you don't get on the NBA first, second, third team, like you cannot get the super max. So like the way like Russell Westbrook, he can get the 200 whatever million if that's what he chooses. But like Paul George can't do that. At most, I think he could get like 150, something like that.
No, I didn't know that. What did Mike? Because I know Mike Conley had a huge contract too. Was he on one of those first, second, or third teams?
Honestly, I would have to check, but it's not like he got the 200 million though. He got like
180, like 180 or something.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the 200 bracket.
That's so much money.
Yeah. So yeah, just
Mike
like
Conley,
Stanley was saying. What's up?
Oh no, what were you saying? I was saying Mike Conley got like 160 or something, I think.
Oh no,
yeah,
I was gonna say just like Stanley had said before, like now we're gonna really see what these players care about like more than ever, because it's like a lot of these dudes who are getting drafted, they're gonna be on these teams that are whack, but if they're like good, they're gonna get offered the 200 million. So it's like, do you really care about winning or do you care about the money?
That's a good point. I think we were talking about Carmelo Anthony. I don't know if it was us three or if I was talking to someone else. That's the exact example with Melo, right? Melo could have chosen any team during that free agency period, and he decided to stay in New York and make a lot of money. He could probably have a ring if he really wanted to, but he doesn't. He's probably one of the superstars in New York City, and good for him. But I completely agree.
Yeah, like that is the thing though, because we do got to look at these athletes like, I mean, they are humans, just like all of us. We are trying to make our money and capitalize on our dollars, and we look at them like, oh my God, you could have made $20 million and won a ring, but instead you decided to make $30 million and play on a shitty team. Like $10 million, I mean, that's a big difference, and especially we got to factor in their living. Like where they want to live. Do you want to live in Oklahoma City or do you want to live in California?
Right.
So, but it does suck though, because as sports fans, we do want to see a good product on the floor. We do want to see good teams. But that is a lot of things. That is a bit that a lot of people don't really understand. Is like, yeah, they're just like us trying to make money, and I think more fans are starting to realize that now. So Kevin Durant's decision is a little bit of a bigger deal. Like when I look at these sports shows, a lot of like Max Kellerman, he makes a big point of saying these front office GMs make trades all the time, but now the players are taking it upon themselves to create their teams. But realistically, what's the difference? If a GM makes a trade for, like if Bob Myers and Jerry West and Steve Kerr and all them get together and they say, oh, let's make a trade for Kevin Durant and lose so-and-so and so-and-so, it's not a big deal. But if Kevin Durant, the free agent, decides to do it himself and make a team, then all hell breaks loose and everybody's ridiculing Kevin Durant. But, I mean, the reality is still the same. I mean, obviously we still got to look at Kevin Durant and say, look, you're not really that true competitor. Because for me personally, Pat, we're in that adult basketball league together. How many good players do I want on the team? Like, I definitely I like having good players that will complement, but obviously I don't want any player to kind of, like, take over.
Like how?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Love the guy, great player. But yeah, and he had to learn it into our system.
Yeah, like you still want to beat the best. Like I'm not sitting here trying to join Levi's team or the team that just won the league championship. Beat that team. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I think Kevin Durant saw the Warriors losing last year as kind of an opportunity to be like, well, I didn't beat the champions. When realistically, they were the best team last year. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's stop pretending that they shouldn't have beat the Cavs. Like, they should have beaten the Cavs soundly. The fact that they lost to them was a mistake. I mean, Draymond Green got suspended, whatever. They did have 2 chances to win. But if that series was out of 11, there's no way in hell I'm betting against the Warriors.